Welcome to Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show!
Welcome to Wholesale Hotline number 74. To all of our old friends and all of our young friends and all of our new friends, we welcome you to the only show that comes to you every single week that answers your questions about wholesaling real estate. And we have got a unbelievable show for you today. I am Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, Mr. Talk to People, and I am joined by my co-hosts, my brothers. I love them. You know them all. It's Pace Morby, Mr. Sub 2. It's Mr. Astro in Jamil Damji. And we've got an incredible fourth host for this show, Matthew Beard. Now listen, guys, if you do not know what Matthew has been going and doing, Matt here has been crushing live 2 to 3 hours a day, showing everybody how to set up their real estate wholesaling business. Not only that, he went into a market where he knew nobody. He squatted up quickly. He built the systems. He did this all live, and he's put together, what is it, Pace? 4 deals for $60K?
Four deals, $60,000 in 3 weeks in less than 3 hours per day.
3 hours per day. Guys, listen, we want this to be heavy with questions. We want you peppering. We want you tearing it apart. I want you to be sitting there and saying, prove it. Prove it, Matt. Prove that you actually did this. Prove that this isn't just made up. Prove it. Like, really dig in, really get the questions answered. Because once you guys have that confidence, you know that somebody else can do it. That's what's called inspiration. That's the inspirational part of this. All right. Seeing somebody do it and do it quickly and do it right away, and something that you can model and really change. And I want to start off with this thought. All right. It's right here. If you are persistent, you will get it. If you are consistent, you will keep it. All right. So this is going to be an absolutely incredible bananas show. So let's get ripping roaring. I mean, it's Matt. Tell us how it's been, man.
Man, life is good. Life is good. We wrapped up the Zero to Hero Challenge, which is what you were referencing to. And it was crazy. You know, we were like, all right, we want to stack the cards against us, and we want to grow this business and start it from scratch, and, you know, basically have no advantage, and show people, man, there's no excuse why you can't build a business and get started right away. You know, I had the great opportunity to meet you guys early on when I first got in this business. And for me, that was like a paradigm shifter, right? Being around folks that were doing deals, that were doing it at high levels, like, oh my gosh, I want to be there. And for me, because I was able to see it, it made it more real. So I hope more than anything over the last, you know, when we did this 3-week challenge and people get to see me build this business live and actually do contracts, we got 4 deals in 3 weeks. People can see that and say, you know what, I can do this too.
You know what he's referencing is a couple of years ago, I meet Matt. Okay. And Matt ran our door knocking team for a couple of years. But here's what he's referencing. When he first met Brent and Jamil, do you know where he met you? Do you guys remember where he first met you?
Steve Trang's meetup.
That probably is the case for you, Brent or Jamil, but he met Brent at the Go Giver Mastermind. I brought him as a guest, and he walks into this room and he sees Carlos, Sal, Steve Trang, Brandon Simmons, Brent Daniels, Jamil,
Jared Vidalis.
Jared Vidalis. Like the list goes on, and you look in this room, and Matt goes, I can't believe you invited me to this room. And I think the person who's probably the most excited about meeting was Mr. Gun Show up there in the upper right-hand corner of the screen.
Come on. Well, you were partnered with Tyler, right?
Yeah, for a while, but not at that time. I was just getting going, I was
No,
not
right.
moving
Yeah.
forward.
You guys connected after Tyler joined TTP, and you guys really took off fast. And then, man, you guys are both still doing amazing things. It's incredible.
Yeah, and again, for me, I was like, "Oh my God, what am I doing in this room? These guys have so much knowledge." I'm like, I've been knocking some doors, and I finally got my first deal. And Pace invites me to this thing, and that's just like an ode and testament to you guys. Like, this isn't some show that you put on. This isn't some sort of front. Like, you guys are really this way, and it's always been that way. And it's like that was just so refreshing for me getting started. It's like, oh my gosh, these guys are making money, but also like just we're super approachable, right? And like you just feel like you guys are good people, and like that's what got me excited. And I mean, I really say that shifted my mind to being able to be here today, and like that's what I hope, if anything else, people can see like when they go back and watch some of the stuff we've been doing.
Amazing.
So the Zero to Hero Challenge came about from, I would say, the most common question that Brent, Jamil, myself get asked every single day, which is, how do I get started? And I actually sent, I got a screenshot. Somebody DM'd me the other day and they said, how do I get started? And I go, what do you want to do? And they said, I want to wholesale. I go, great. Then go to Brent Daniels' YouTube channel, because there's nobody doing wholesale better on YouTube than Brent Daniels. And also Jerry Norton, a good friend of ours. Those two gentlemen is who I constantly refer people to go watch YouTube videos. And it just repeatedly happens all the time. And so I challenged Matt. I said, Matt, why don't you take a vote and find out what market the general public would want you to start in randomly, a market that you've never operated in. And the audience ended up choosing North Carolina. And so Matt started, do you remember what day it was? It was like first week of July, or what? When was that?
I think it was like June 21st.
So June 21st on a Monday, Matt starts brand new, doesn't have a company, doesn't have a website, doesn't have a company name, doesn't have leads, doesn't have systems, no CRM, nothing. He just says, all right, let's get started. And he walks everybody through the process. And one of my favorite things he did on like day one of this challenge is he squatted up with a gentleman named Jim, who is a Keegley franchise, which ended up being one of the anchors of the challenge, right, Matt?
Yeah, 100%. And I think, that's like one of the key takeaways for the whole thing is you got to find people like when you're doing virtual wholesaling. I'm sure you guys get plenty of people reaching out to you, like especially with your influence, like people like Pace, how do I get started? Jamil, how do I get started? Brent, where do I go? How do I pick a perfect virtual market? Like first off, there is no perfect place. Like you can just go to Zillow and type in what's the top in-migration cities, and you're going to find a place to go market, because where people are moving is where people are buying.
Jamil's been talking about this actually for a couple of years, like Fort Wayne, Indiana, and all these places. Like Jamil, are you guys seeing more and more activity in like the Indianas and the Ohios and stuff like that?
It's intense. There's so much more activity in those markets, not only from institutional buyers, but now family offices are starting to purchase more and more and more and more and more inventory over there, because they're following where the institutional money is going. But there's no place like North Carolina. Like legitimately, in my opinion, is it's one of those markets that's going to emerge into being a Phoenix style market. It's that hot over there.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Coastal, opportunity, price point, space, topography. I mean, cost of living, quality of life, the accents.
The people in the South are a little bit sweeter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when there was a vote going on to see where Matt should start this brand new business, people were arguing that he should start in North Carolina because of how challenging and like saturated it's getting because of institutional buyers. And so it was a big challenge to start in that market. I mean, in a lot of ways, it's like, why not just start in your own backyard? But Matt was like, no, I want to stack the chips against myself in order to do this. So market we've never done a deal in, no leads, a market that is highly competitive, right? Check that out. So Diane Adams says, Charlotte, where I live, is experiencing a huge influx of migration. So what does that mean typically for home prices and homeowners is they can probably get top dollar for their houses. Are you guys seeing that? Are you experiencing that, Jamil, with your guys' franchise out in North Carolina?
Yeah, we are. And the funny thing is that top dollar is still like, feels like a fraction to the rest of the country. And that's the thing, right? When you can get into a house that you would spend $400,000 for in a market like Phoenix or Dallas, you can buy for $125,000 in like a place like Charlotte. You know, that is huge. When we are seeing that there's so little inventory on the retail market space and people are struggling to find home. They're struggling to find home. And if that is what we're going to see for the next 3, maybe 4 years, areas like North Carolina, Indiana, Oklahoma, these spots are going to continue to pop off. And the number of people migrating to those markets is just going to increase greater and greater.
Let me ask you this, Jamil. If Matt did the same exact strategy in San Diego, how do you think that it would go?
Well,
right. What about Miami?
Well,
what about Seattle?
Well,
so is it the market? Is it the strategy? Is it like, you know what I mean? You're everywhere, right? I mean, Keegley is like,
yep.
Finally, somebody is franchising a business for real estate investing that actually works, right? So, I mean, it's absolutely incredible. And you see this going around and you've got insider like information, you know, which areas are going and kind of average amounts that people are making per deal and all of that. You know, is it because what I want to kind of peel apart is it the market or is it the strategy or is it a combination? You know what I mean?
I think Matt had his work cut out for him trying to break into North Carolina in a time like now where you've got, let's look at just what's happening in that space, right? You have one of the largest influencers in wholesale real estate dominating the airwaves of YouTube and social media. Max Maxwell, friend of the show, friend of ours, an amazing guy out of North Carolina. A lot of folks in North Carolina that are doing wholesaling have come through the Max Maxwell door, right?
Yeah.
So you've got that. You've got a homegrown influencer, right? Then beyond that, you've got all of the industry. You've got all of the again, the geography there. It's coastal. You know, it's a beautiful place.
Yep.
It's a beautiful place to visit.
You and I went there.
We went there and we went. Brent, do you remember when we were driving down the highway and we were looking at all those trees and we were just like in shock that and we were looking at the price of real estate and we're like, how is this at that time? Because that was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
At that time, we were looking at houses that were running in the $50,000 and $60,000. And we're looking at houses at $50,000 or $60,000 thinking, how the heck are the homes so cheap? That same house today is $100,000, right? Yep. And so you've seen a huge increase in price, but what's $100,000 for a house? You know, they have not caught up with the rest of the country. And mark my words that it will. Yeah. It will. And
right.
So
you have people that, like, in today's world, 2021, where everyone's realizing you can work from home, you can work from anywhere. So why not move to a place where your cost of living is much cheaper and you can still keep your job? You know, so I think that's just the direction the world is heading. That's why you're seeing in Indiana, you're seeing it in North Carolina. But like what Brent was saying, like, you're not like, this can be applied anywhere. It's not market specific. And I think that's what we wanted to show people the most was a lot of folks try to, you know, spend too much time on trying to pick the perfect market or pick the perfect, you know, list or pick the perfect, like, what do I need to do? This seems very competitive. There's too many people here. I can't get a deal. Look, that is totally not the case. And that was the paradigms we were trying to shift and like the limiting beliefs that we're trying to break through.
I think the biggest takeaway, because I wasn't participating, unfortunately. Jamil and I were filming every day for the TV show, so I wasn't able to be there. But I was able to go back and watch some of the comments that were going on during Zero to Hero. And the comments, here's what happened on day one. So day one of Zero to Hero, this is what Matt did. We constructed this challenge basically to mirror somebody who has a 9-to-5 job, right? Somebody who's like, look, I come home from work and I don't have the time. The kids are crawling on me. The wife is on top of me. You know, you guys are telling me to go full-time real estate. I can't do that. So they don't take any action, right? And so what Matt did is he only had 3 hours to make this work per day. And in day one, this is what he did. new company name. We had the audience come up with it. Panther Home Solutions.
Hey,
Literally, he let the comments come up with the company name. So stop overthinking your company name. He created a website in 7 minutes, literally from conception to going live. The website went live in 7 minutes. He got an LLC, the ball rolling on an LLC. He got a handful of other things going, all within 3 hours. And here's the number one takeaway I got. People were saying in the comments, holy moly, I've been trying to accomplish these 3 things for 2 years, and you did them in 2 hours. And by day 3, Matt had a fully automated lead generation system to the point where he never had to worry about another lead. That was by day 3, within less than 9 hours of physical work that was set up.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of my time was spent like explaining like, hey, so this is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing it. This is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing it. Let me call Jim. Let's work on a relationship with Jim. Jim, where do I need to buy properties? You're the Keegley rep. You're the area expert. Where do I need to buy properties?
That was a big eye opener too, is like, you get a lot of people that overthink like, well, I don't have relationships somewhere and I need to know everything about that market. And it's like, dude, do what we've been talking about at Wholesale Hotline for the last year and a half, which is squad up. Look at the screen right now. Leo Guire says, just squatted up and got a $39,000 assignment fee.
amazing.
You wouldn't believe. Ring that bell, baby. You wouldn't believe how many DMs Jamil, myself, Brent get on a weekly basis. People talking about how they did deals in the comments on Wholesale freaking Hotline.
It's crazy.
I think it's on all of our live shows, guys. I really do. I mean, I see it every time. I mean, on your guys' show, you guys look at the comments on your live show, the Sunday service and the comp, straight out of Compin. People are getting together. They are connecting. They are, I mean, this is where you want to be. I mean, if you want a community, go to these places where, you know, people are participating. We have the best audience, in my opinion, in all of real estate investing for this show, without a doubt. And then it expands to our other shows, and it's just fantastic. But you have to get loud. You have to invite people into your world. You got to be a magnet, right? So don't be afraid to get in there and say where you're from and connect and get past just these comments and get into, hey, here's my number, here's my cell, here's my DM me, whatever it is. And that's how you start building that momentum. Because I'm telling you right now, if you do not surround yourself with people that are doing this business, it is easy for this to slip through your fingers for that year, for those 2 years, where it took Matt an hour, seriously, an hour to set up something that people haven't done in a year or two. You be surrounded, be obsessed with this, and you're going to do amazing, amazing things and provide so much opportunity for the people that you love.
So Matt, there was a question on the screen just a second ago. People are asking, where can they go watch the recordings of this? Because that was the whole purpose of this, of like, let's create a game plan to show people that it really doesn't take that much time and do it step by step. Even right here, you've got people, Jonathan Montague says, any advice on keeping lists fresh? That was addressed in the 0 to Hero Challenge by you showing them the lists you're pulling. You're showing all those types of things that was happening live, and also showing how fast you go through lists. Literally every question you could come up with was answered in the live chronologically. So where can people go watch the recordings?
So you can go to 0toherorei.com and join the waiting list. So we'll have the recordings ready by August 16th. You guys got to imagine, like, we did this 3 hours a day for 3 weeks, plus a Q&A. So this was like 50 some odd hours worth of content. And we didn't want to like hold anything back. Like literally everything we did was recorded. If it was outside of those 3 hours, we wouldn't do it. So, I mean, everything from seller calls, prospecting, training our VAs, everything that was in the actual, like, what would it take to build this business was recorded. It was funny because Keegley posted, what was that pace yesterday? Keegley, the Dispo Instagram.
Oh my
page.
gosh. Keegley Dispo's Instagram. Oh my gosh. It's one of the greatest posts I've ever seen. Guys, go to Keegley Dispo's Instagram and you'll see their Instagram post from yesterday. It's freaking genius.
Yeah. So basically what it was about was just like, if you go there and check out the photo, there's like a drawing of a circle. And then there's like another drawing of a circle with like 2 little legs. And then all of a sudden, like step 3 was this beautiful painting of like a person on a horse. And it was like wholesaling courses be like, right. And they're missing so much stuff that gets to the end, like the end result, which is like, for most of us, let's get deals. Let's make money. Right. They leave stuff out. And we just thought it was just so hilarious because in this like 0 to hero, we literally couldn't leave anything out. And I mean, like everything's raw. Like basically from me talking to my VAs, hey, hang on a second. You can't hear my audio. Oh, I'm having internet issues. Wait a second. Like everything was recorded.
Here's the post I'm talking about. Wholesale tutorials be like step 1, step 2, and then all of a sudden magically step 3, like the horse is all the way built out. So like, here's the thing is I'm a TT. I would say that I say this to people all the time. I'm a TTP alumni. I would say that TTP has been and for a very, very long time has been the gold standard of exactly how to do this. Outside of that, I've taken 4 other courses, 4 other wholesale courses where it's like direct to seller. And this is truly what it's like. Right. Yep. And when somebody tells me that they've spoken or that somebody tells me that they're a TTP student, I immediately want to do a deal with them. Right. Because you see all these other people educating improperly. Either they're not doing the deals or they've never done a deal themselves or whatever it is. And there's so much bad information out there that directs people to sign up for these $40,000, $60,000 seminars that don't actually give you the full gamut, right? Like a TTP course would, right? Or something along those lines. So,
I mean, I partnered with a TTP student and he was miles ahead, right? That's just the truth of it. But the reality is we all know, we won't say it, but we all know that there's plenty of information out there that just leaves all the good stuff out, right? They're just in the business of selling information. So we were trying to cut all the BS when it came to this particular challenge. So I think that's what makes it so good. It's just raw and real.
Yeah. There's a huge difference between education and coaching. There's just a huge difference. There's a huge difference on this is the theory on it or go do this and you'll be successful. Here's the steps.
Which one is which, Brent?
The coaching, listen, the coaching is instruction. The coaching is go do this. The coaching is, listen, all of this experience that has been piled up for years and years and years and years is boiled down to these 3, 5, 8 steps, whatever it is. It's small, it's quick. Just go do this. And it all centers around building your confidence up so that you understand the process, but then almost like plucking all of that out of your brain and trusting that your coach is going to be there when you need them. And that's that's why we're so passionate. I mean, listen, all 3 of us guys we're coaches. We love coaching. We love what we do. We love going through it. We get into the nitty gritty. We spend hours and hours and hours a day doing it and a week in just being there. And that's how you get the results. It's coaching. It's not mentorship. Mentorship is I want to be like that person. Coaching is, hey, make me better. That's what it is. There's a big difference there. And I think people really need to filter through and decide, do you want to look at somebody and just have them be your mentor and just see what they're doing? Or do you want somebody that's going to kick your ass?
I want somebody to kick my ass.
Yeah, me too.
Yes.
All day long. Pull me through the fire, force me through it. If I'm fearful for it, I was lucky when I got started in the business. I had friends like Jamil. And I had friends like Brent and I had other friends that I could call and rely on. But how did I meet Brent? I met Brent by Brent being my coach.
Yep.
Right. I went into his office with my pregnant wife and became his friend because he's such a lovable guy. But that's it. It was just straight up ass kicking. Right. And I love the comment, whoever put that on the screen, that was such a great comment. Step 1, pull a list. Step 2, call it that list. Step 3, buy a Ferrari.
There you go.
It's easy life. It just depends. I mean, if that's your goal, that's your goal. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that. It might not be the most, financially sound thing to do, but you know what? If that's what you want to do with your life, this business gives you the opportunity to have those options. It really does. Now, are there fake people out there that, buy, rent them for the day and floss and take, a lot of photo shoots and shit? Sure. But for the most part, you can build it to the point where you could buy something like that cash. I mean, I'm telling you, and maybe Matt, you're in the same position. Everybody on the screen could buy any car we want, any car, cash money. It's just options. It's just choices, but it's because of this business. It's because of this business.
Jamil, you're probably the most connected in terms of boots on the ground, ears to the railroad type of person in this industry because of your franchises and the multiple markets you guys are currently in. I'm curious about this because Jerry Norton is a good friend of ours. I text him frequently. I know Jerry's constantly sending you and I photos of lizards that he's turning into wallets out in Puerto Rico. And I'm not exaggerating, by the way. He's like, I shot this lizard from my hip in my golf cart as I was cruising down the beach. I'm turning this one into a wallet.
He sends us photos of massacres weekly.
But Jerry has been making videos lately talking about how wholesaling is going to become regulated nearly everywhere. Jamil, do you have a gut feel or a kind of reaction to that?
I got a phone call late at night on Saturday. Was it Saturday? Yeah, Saturday or Friday, from a mutual friend of all of ours that had a conversation with someone from the Department of Real Estate in Arizona. And the exact law that's being passed in Oklahoma is slated and being written right now to be passed in Arizona.
And what is that?
That every wholesaler is going to be required to hold a real estate license.
I actually really like this idea. Brent, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah. I mean, listen, we've been talking about it for a couple of years now. I don't know how it stops anything. It's 90 hours of class and 2 tests. I mean, it's not like you have to go to, some 4-year degree type of thing. And I think that it gives you one, it's going to give people that aren't from the industry the right language to be able to use just studying that. And 2, it's going to get rid of a lot of bad actors. And there's a lot of bad actors out there that are doing some really negative things. So if it happens, it happens. Do we have a timeline on it, Jamil?
His belief was in the next 90 days, we'll be hearing about it here in Arizona.
Okay.
So, this individual he's connected and he knows what he's talking about.
Was this Doug Hopkins?
No, sir.
Oh,
no.
Doug Hopkins and I were talking about this exact thing. He basically was talking about how there's all these wholesalers that will come in and manipulate a seller to getting them to sign a second or third contract when they're already in contract. And he's like, honestly, I don't know why people aren't regulated. I think it only elevates our entire industry as a whole. Do you guys all agree with that?
I love real estate licensing. I think it's important. I think it provides credibility. I think it provides access to tools. Look, we all know that they don't teach you a lot in real estate school. So even licensed real estate agents are coming out completely blank. That's fine. That's totally fine. However, the laws. At least you know the laws. They are teaching you the laws in real estate school. That's the one thing they care about. Okay, you're going to understand what's right. You're going to understand what's wrong. You're going to understand what's legal. You're going to understand what's not legal. And in that knowledge, you will go and decide if you want to pursue retail real estate and drive people around and show them houses that are already under contract, or you decide to go into wholesale real estate and earn a living that is beyond your wildest dreams.
And Jamil, we had the Multipliers Mastermind back in February in Tulum, and one of the guys in my small group, Jeff, he's in Illinois and he has his license and has his business tripled as soon as that law came out in Illinois. It really has. It was just everybody.
Do you think it's because it weeded people out, or do you think it elevated his status?
People went to other states.
Because people couldn't go take a 2-week class and pay $1,500 to get a license, like WTF.
The amount of creative avoidance, that's one of Brent's favorite words.
Holy shnikes, dude.
The lengths that people will go through and go to creatively avoid having to do additional work is so interesting. It really and it's volumes of people. It's not just a handful of people. It's like the majority of folks.
Yep.
Right. And that tells you that we're hardwired to be lazy. As human beings, we're hardwired to be lazy. We're trying to conserve everything. Our brains aren't even giving us all the information that's happening at one given time. Our subconscious minds are filtering out so much crap so that we can only utilize this much energy so that we only see these things. And it's the same for our ambition. It's the same. We're only willing to have as much ambition as we have, ease in our capacity to exercise that ambition. I know that was a long-winded saying. We're only going to do what's friggin' easy to do.
Path of least resistance, baby.
Path of least resistance, man. That's what we do.
By the way, just so that you guys know, since the beginning of this year, because I am licensed, we're making on average $12,000 a month from referrals to real estate agents for traditional deals. We don't want to mess with them. We don't want to list houses. We don't want to take buyers around. $12,000 a month. I mean, that's like passive, right? That's like, here's the lead, take it. And because we're licensed, boom, it goes to Steve Trang, Stunning Homes Realty, wires into my account. And I'm like, oh, what is this? Boom. Referral fee.
I need to get some checks from Steve. That's bullcrap.
I know. It's great.
Colton Forbes says, will creative real estate investing as a whole be regulated eventually? It is regulated. It's regulated by Dodd-Frank. It's regulated by far more than wholesale currently is regulated by. But the reality is you can do everything in creative finance. Like, here's the thing, is the only thing that's going to be regulated in creative finance is the stuff that the banks aren't already doing. Okay, so the banks are already selling notes and doing all sorts of stuff. Like, these things are happening, right, by big institutions. The things that are going to be regulated in creative finance is when you wholesale a subject to, or you wholesale a seller finance, or you wholesale something. So if wholesaling becomes regulated, then that adds another layer on top of what already is regulated in creative finance. Now you have to have a license in order to wholesale it. But at the end of the day, here's my question. Do I have to be licensed if my partner is licensed?
No, somebody in the entity needs to hold a real estate license.
It probably depends on the role, right, Jamil? I mean,
Yep.
you guys, the thing that people don't know right now is you've had your whole company licensed for years.
From day one.
For years. I mean, every
came out-
acquisition, every disposition, everybody in there licensed. Was it hard for you to find people that would get their license? Was it a huge hurdle for you?
It was expensive. I'll be honest. It was expensive because we would bring people in off the street and get them licensed. And then what happens when you ultimately hire people? If you hire 10 people, how many stay? Or how many work out? Right? People leave, right? They don't go through with it, or they take way too long to get licensed, and that happened. But it's okay, because one thing that we did learn through the licensing process was who was worth it. And the guys and the gals that actually ended up getting licensed and going through it and passed that test quickly and were able to, get to the next thing, they panned out. They became great people that still work at Keegley today.
Here's an interesting thing right here. Check this out. Kind of going back to what Brent was talking about and Jamil was talking about
right now. Yeah.
So creative avoidance, talk about creative avoidance. Like, there is a time for double close. Like, there is a time specifically that you should use double closing, but the reality is double closing costs money. And so at the end of the day, why not just spend less money, get a license? If it becomes regulated in your state, you'll actually spend less money wholesaling as a licensed agent as you would saying, I don't want to technically wholesale, so I'm going to double close. You've got two sets of closing costs associated. That's more than the cost of a real estate license, isn't it?
It is, man. And again, there's going to be new ways, new workarounds, and look, guys, we're not judging anybody in here that doesn't want to get a real estate license. Okay, do what you want to do, but first and foremost, understand that if you're going to create a business, if you're going to do what Matt said and do the 0 to Hero challenge, okay, and you're going to follow these steps, why can't you follow one more step? Why not just get yourself licensed?
Yeah. I mean, I think what we also see, guys, is like, it's just been so convenient over the last year or two to just like literally all the softwares and stuff that are available to investors today weren't around when you guys were starting, right?
Dude,
it wasn't simple.
Matt, your first deal was knocking doors. Okay.
Correct. Yep.
Brent Daniels, when was that? 7-8 years ago, Brent,
Yep.
that you knocked 20,000 plus doors. Like there was no apps out there for that shiz, dude. You had to like manually go do it.
You couldn't get phone numbers either. There wasn't skip tracing. You'd have to have a private account with TLO or LexisNexis. It was a whole thing. Yeah.
Right. So with that, and like with the convenience factor, I feel like has led to a lot of people not realizing just how simple it is to start this business. And they see like, oh my gosh, this licensing thing, I'm going to get hung up on it, instead of like actually doing, like you guys are like, oh yeah, it's easy. Like we just go get a license. Most people starting their business today, like, oh, that's way too big of a hurdle. I might as well just go pull a list elsewhere. Right. Which is crazy to think, but at the same time, it's going to lead to a lot of opportunities for people who are like, yeah, let's just go get our license.
And I love this question, Vinay Raj. Great thought. And this is another thing that happens to people. They think, oh my God, if I have to get a license, I'm adding another mouth to my meal, right? The question here, Vinay Raj asked, wouldn't you have to hang your license under a broker and then split your wholesale fee with the broker? No, Vinay, because you would still be the principal in the deal. The mechanics of the wholesale transaction doesn't change just because you're licensed. You're now not brokering the deal. You're still the purchaser on the deal. So you're still the principal in the deal. And if you sell your interest in the deal, either through assignment or through double close, you are still earning a profit as the principal in a transaction, meaning it is not a commissionable event. You might have to pay a transaction fee to your brokerage, but you aren't going to have a commission split.
What's a typical transaction fee that you guys see, Jamil?
$250.
$250.
Okay, but what's the average assignment fee nationwide that you see, Brent?
$15,000.
Okay, so that shouldn't pose a problem, right? I'd be happy to pay $250 for a $15,000 assignment. I know Brent's assignment fees are like $25K and above.
Come
like
on, 38.
38. Is that because you guys got licensed?
No, not because we got licensed, just because we do massive deals, bro.
Just because we do massive deals, bro.
Listen, you find what you're looking for. Tune your mental antennas into finding massive deals, and you'll find massive deals. That's what I tell everybody in TTP. That's why we have a 50K club. That's why people are joining the 50K club every week. It's incredible. You find what you're looking for. If you have your antennas out, your mental antennas out to find big opportunities, you will find big opportunities. It's just, again, persistence will get you there. Consistency will keep you there. That's it.
Yep. So, Matt, when you start a brand new business, right, from scratch, 3 hours a day, 0 to hero challenge, how long should it take to get a deal? Right? If you're consistently, going back to what Brent just talked about, consistently taking action every single day for just a couple of hours, how long do you think, when you were going into the 0 to hero challenge, did you have a plan of like, I'm getting a deal day one? Or did you say, I hope I get a deal? What was your mindset going to that?
For me, it really comes down to really anyone. It comes down to how many conversations can I have? I need to talk to people. And I think the unfair advantage I had through this challenge.
Hey, when on this TV, on this show, when you say talk to people, you have to say, I need to TTP.
I need to TTP. Okay. I need to TTP.
Yeah,
so
baby.
That's what we need to do. So literally that was it. I was like, okay, well, I don't want to just talk to anyone. I want to talk to people who are ready to sell. So we created a system to where leads are coming in, like actual leads. And then those are the people I talk to. Like I was expecting a deal within with just 3 hours a day. I'm like, okay, probably within 20 hours or so.
Yep. Because
the unfair advantage that I had was I've already talked to plenty of people over this period of time since I got started. So what would take me, 2 or 3 conversations to get a deal, it may take someone, 30 who's just getting started. But when you look at it that way and you realize it's just a numbers game, then it's just like, well, how can I go find more opportunities? Because the opportunities is more opportunities to talk to people. That's literally it. So for me, it was about 20 hours.
I want to unpack that 20 hours.
Yep.
Okay. Hope you guys don't mind. I want to get a little granular with them. So, Matt, the 20 hours that it took to get the deal. Let's go step one. Step one. Let's take away the opening a business, naming your business. Let's forget all that stuff. All that stuff is done. We're assuming now we have an LLC. We have a list. We've got all this. Actually, I'm going to pull a list. Let's start there. Matt, what list did you pull?
So I wanted to find. I hired 2 VAs from the start. Okay. I knew I needed a virtual assistant to help me cold call. I didn't want to cold call. That was something that I never did, even from when I first started out. Like I went and knocked doors instead. So I'm like, okay, I'll need a VA to help me generate leads because I'm going to set up this system to where I'm going to be talking to people who've already raised their hand and said, yes, I'm interested in selling. So great. Hire 2 VAs. And with those 2 VAs, I know personally it's going to take about 5,000 to 7,000 records for them to call to get through multiple times to where I'm going to get a deal. Okay.
Okay.
I don't need a big list. Yep.
One deal, Matt?
Well, I
5,000
mean,
to
we have now gotten 4 deals from a list of 7,000 records.
Got it. Okay.
But let's just say one. Let's just say
you pulled one list is what Jamil's trying to get to. You pulled one list. What was that list?
I'm just trying to get. I just want this much. I just want this much. Right. So you pull a 5,000. Let's call it 5,000 records. Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And what was the what records? What type of list? Did you have a filter? Did you niche it down? What was
100%. So what I start with, again, I want to see what the records come back. We went to batch leads, okay? And I was like, okay, we have almost 1 million people in this market. Great. Well, I need obviously to niche this down. It's not about the size of the list. We need to throw it out the window. We want to be laser focused on the ideal person. We're not marketing to a list. We're marketing to a situation. So what is the situation that I want to market to? Okay, I want to market to a landlord, okay, an absentee owner. So let's start there. Okay, well, that returned 20 some odd thousand records. Great. Well, I want landlords who have owned the property at least 10 years.
Yep.
Okay. Where are we looking at now? Okay. That's a little bit smaller. So landlords who've owned the property 10 years that own the property individually, right? Not in an LLC. Okay. And then as I broke that down, absentee, 10 years ownership, only single family homes, I ended up getting close to about 5,000 records, but that was the situation. I wanted someone who has owned the property for a length, like a longer period of time, so they have equity in it, and it's not a primary residence.
So is it equity was the main thing, or is equity plus maybe by 10 years ownership, they might be sick of their tenants?
Yeah, so I don't care. Like I didn't filter by equity simply because guys, this is a really big tip. When you go to data providers, you start filtering by equity, you're going to be missing a lot of data.
Yep.
Okay. You're going to be missing a lot of data because there's a lot of stuff that's just not reporting. There's a lot of stuff that is unknown. So I just assumed if you've owned it for 10 years, you've either been dealing with tenants for a while. Even if you have no equity, guess what? I can do sub 2. I can do creative finance, right? Ultimately, I'm looking for someone who's owned that property with tenants and has owned it for at least 10 years.
Matt, can you put a original purchase price on it?
For as far as the filter is concerned?
Yeah.
We didn't go anything over 400,000.
Thank you. And why did you do that?
Jamil, I don't want to deviate at all, but we're missing something very vital that I want to lay out that is very important to you. And we have to express gratitude to something you set up. We didn't just go to any old zip code or any old area. We actually reached out to somebody who was boots on the ground before we pulled this list. Matt, will you express that real quick? And then Jamil can get back on his line of questions.
Yeah. Sorry guys. So before we pulled the list, I had talked to Jim. And Jim's like, yeah, you guys should stay in these zip codes. No one's buying in these
Who's
zip
Jim?
codes.
Why is he significant?
So if you guys are just tuning in, Jim was one of the first relationships we built when we started building out this business virtually. I needed someone that, number one, was boots on the ground, or new people that can help me get boots on the ground. Why is that important? I need people that go take photos of properties, right? Whenever we get them under contract. But also I need an area expert who understands the property values, who may have connections with those institutional buyers who will pay more money for deals.
Why is Jim Wills, by the way, Jim Wills, why is Jim Wills an area expert? That's what I'm trying to get to.
Yes. So this is who I was looking for. Okay. I needed an area expert. So what better place to go than a Keegley franchisee, because he is really doing deals in that business. I don't have to make a post on Facebook. Hey guys, I'm looking for someone who I can partner up with in North Carolina. I'm going to have 200 comments on that. Yeah, let's work together. I'm a buyer. I can cut all the crap and go straight to someone who I know is actually doing deals. And that was a Keegley franchisee, Jim Wills.
Awesome. I appreciate that, guys. Thanks for the shout out there. So you reach out to an area expert. He tells you what neighborhood. So you're filtering by zip code. Then you're doing high equity. You're doing high equity owned, absentee owner, owned longer than 10 years, 10 years or longer. And it's individually owned, right?
Individually owned. And then Brent got the other one that I forgot to say, no higher than 400,000 on the property value.
Awesome. No higher than 4. So you capped it. You wanted low dollar property. So guys, Right there, Matt just snitched out for you probably one of the most powerful lists that you can download. And guess what? 5,000 records. If you go to batchleads.io/squad up, you actually can get 5,000 free records. So you can take the list, all the information that Matt just said, and download that exact list for free tonight. Okay, next.
Amazing.
Matt, you hired two VAs, right? You hired two VAs from VA Hub. What does that cost?
Yeah, so we went to Start Virtual. This is on day one. Right?
Sorry, Start Virtual. I apologize. You hired two VAs from Start Virtual. What was the cost?
So for the entire cost, and again, it was like for the training that they already had, they went through 2 weeks and got certified. And then obviously their first week up front, we spent $1,300.
$1,300 for the VAs. The list is free.
Yep.
How long did that? And that was 2 weeks worth of employment for the VAs.
So yeah, we paid the week up front and their 2 weeks of training. So that's already wrapped in with their costs there. So we know like that's going to be our charge.
So you had $1,300 expense there, no expense. Oh, skip tracing. What did it cost you to skip trace that list?
It was, so by the time we massaged that list about 5,000 records, by the time I put it into batch leads, it was right around 7,000 actually. Okay. So I wanted to be completely transparent with you guys. It was 5,000 plus another 2 there. So by the time we added it all up, it was about 7,000. We spent $700 to skip trace it. And the cool thing about batch leads, and you guys know this, is that we don't have to pay for records that they don't find. So it ended up being like $660.
So you're 1,300. Let's just call it 7. That's $2,000. Okay.
Yes.
So you
What
have
about a dialer?
Yes.
Yep. So the dialer was, I needed 2 seats on the dialer. Okay. So we went to batch dialer. Is there a way that you guys have like a squad up for those guys?
Yes. Go to batch. Here, Pace, will you put it up?
Yeah, I'll put it up. It's batchdialer.com/squad up is the discount code for that. So what is the price for that, Matt?
So the price is $139 for the 10-line dialer, not the single line. The single line is like $99. I wanted the power dialer so we can get through that data, right? We can dial multiple lines at a time. It's very important. So like some people are like, why am I not getting through the data? Or why is my VA not making enough calls? Or they're on a single line dialer. So if I do 5 to 7 lines at a time, meaning that our VA is sitting on the dialer and it's dialing this phone number, this phone number, this phone number, 7 of them or 5 to 7 of them at a time, we're going to be able to get through 5, 6, 7, 800 dials in a day. So we use the power dialer and it's like $139.
Okay. So your guys, your two staff members, your virtual assistants from Start Virtual, they're running full days, 8-hour days. They're running 800 dials a day, and they're delivering how many leads to you per day?
So around 4 leads a day. And you guys will see, like within the challenge itself, we went through challenges that everyone's going to face when they start their business. We started with the VA. Someone got sick. Someone quit 3 days in. We had to hire a new one. We went through the whole thing. So ideally, perfect world, yes, 4 leads a day. But, in the beginning stages, like the first 2 weeks, we were getting 2 leads, 1 lead, 3 leads, right?
What would you say the average is? Like two leads a day?
Hey, guys, can I pause you just for 1 second? It popped up multiple times, and it's going to continue to come up until we address it. The question right here, Joe Wilson is probably the 10th person has asked this. Jamil talked about getting free leads from Batch Leads. So guys, go to batchleads.com or .io/squad up for those 5,000 records. Batchleads.io/squad up for those 5,000 free records. So sorry, guys. Anytime we talk about getting something free, people go crazy in the comments. So let's make sure we give the code out before I have to derail the conversation. I'm so sorry to pause you.
No, all good. I'm enjoying just trying to break this down granularly because I feel like that's what these guys are looking for.
What is a lead, Matt? What does that mean? You get 2 to whatever leads. What does that mean? What information are they getting? How did they filter it? Is it anybody that says yes, or are they digging deeper?
Right, 100%. Like, so the lead count that we shoot for is 2 leads per day, and that is qualified leads. Great point. Not someone who just wants to sell, not someone who's asking $700,000 for a $300,000 property, right? We don't want that. There's nothing we can do with it. We're looking for 4 pillars, guys. Okay. We care about.
And where do we get that 4 pillars from? I just want to pay homage where that came from. TTP him damn self.
I wish
condition,
there was
timeline, motivation, price. Condition, timeline, motivation, price. Condition, timeline, motivation, price. Practice it, practice it, practice it, practice it. Every conversation that you have with a property owner comes down to 4 things. If you know that you have 4 things that you are trying to understand about this property and the property owner and the situation, you will win. I am telling you, you are gonna save so much time from going on or thinking that you have qualified leads if you just understand the condition of the property, their timeline to sell that property, their motivation or what their problem is, and the price.
Yes,
we get all before Jamil gets back into his line of questioning. Again, another question that's popped up 4 or 5 times is people say, "Where do you find these VAs?" This is literally the 4th time it's popped up. Go to startvirtual.com. And what you want to do is when you get on a phone call for a discovery call, let them know that Wholesale Hotline sent you, and you will get a discount on those VAs. So startvirtual.com, schedule a call, hire a VA, tell them you came from Wholesale Hotline. They will give you a discount.
Beautiful.
2 leads a day.
2 leads a day. Again, based on those 4 pillars that Brent said. And what I think is super interesting is like a lot of the information that we utilize is like coming from you guys. I got, like 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon. I wonder what 7 degrees of Jamil, Brent, and Pace says.
Like 7 degrees of Wholesale Hotline.
It's like everybody.
7 degrees of Wholesale Hotline. So Matt, you did this how many days?
So we did 15 days. So 3 hours a day, Monday through Friday, no weekends, right? Which I think was a really interesting nuance that we did. Like we're not working Saturdays and Sundays with this. Monday through Friday, no excuses. So 15 days, 3 weeks, 3 hours a day.
So 3 hours a day, total cost out the door was around $2,200.
Correct. Yep.
$2,200. You brought in how many contracts?
So we got 4 contracts. And sorry, with the total cost, was
that Pace closing those contracts? Because
I wasn't even involved.
I know that, Pace, because I know where I'm your alibi. But I want to have
you're my alibi.
I want to have an understanding of like, that's 4 contracts. It's amazing conversion, right? So, and you did this live for people, which is incredible. Tell us a little bit about that conversion rate, because that is, do you have to hang around a guy like Pace Morby as much as you do to be able to get that kind of conversion rate? Or is there something special about you, Matt? Or or was this done by a few people? Or give us some understanding.
Yeah, so I love this because I think the number one theme for the entire challenge was just simplicity, right? I think when people see it, it's like, oh my gosh, I've been making this such a big thing. It's not even that big of a deal, right? We recorded everything, including the seller calls. You can hear me like fumble on my words a little bit. You can hear me like go through and do the close and like all the things. And people are like, why am I not doing this? Why haven't I done this? Like I've been making this such a big deal and it's not that bad. It's ultimately, yes. Like, yeah, I've had plenty of conversation with sellers. I know like how to go through and get the close and do all those things. But ultimately when you see it, right, he's like, when I see it, I'm a believer. Like, hopefully we got a lot of believers now, just like how simple this thing really is.
So you get 4 contracts. I mean, an impressive conversion rate, but you, as you said, you fumbled the ball many times. You were human about it. Like people are going to hear your voice crack and all the things. They're going to hear Matt Mustache come out before he became Matt Beard.
Right. 100% like, Mr. Seller, sorry.
So they get to hear all of that, right?
Yep.
But you get 4 contracts and your projected profit or your profit set to close is near how much?
After everything's said and done, a little over 70,000 now. So
guys, this is what I'm talking about. Yes. That is crazy. You literally have a full-time job. You hire 2 VAs. You get a free list. You skip trace the list. You upload it to Dialer. You go hire 2 VAs from Start Virtual. They cold call. They send you qualified leads, 2 a day. You call those qualified leads. You convert them into contracts. That gets you 4 deals, $70,000 ROI, and your $2,200 investment in 2 weeks. Mind effing blown.
The best
like
part
the full
about
work
this
week. Yeah.
is that the first contract came in on day 8. Okay. First contract came in on day 8. Everything was done live, except unfortunately the seller signed the DocuSign at nighttime when we weren't live. We ended up having to show people, hey, here's the contract, here's the thing, here's the recorded call, or here's all the things that, happened with the seller. Everything was recorded except for the seller signing. That's the challenge that we couldn't show. But the challenge, or the actual original challenge of Zero to Hero, it came from Robert Allen. Okay. Robert Allen was challenged by the LA Times. If you're as good as you say you are, then you'll go to a random market and in 72 hours, you will show us that you can buy a property with nothing down. It was more of a creative finance challenge. And within 18 hours, he got his first deal. And so the reporter who was shadowing him for the LA Times said, man, I can't believe you did this in 18 hours. This is unbelievable. I guess we're ready to go home. And Robert Allen said, I still have 54 hours. And he went to go buy 5 other houses in the other 54 hours that he had. So on day 8, even though Matt got the first contract, he asked the audience, should I stop now that I've proven you can go start a brand new market in a market you know nothing about, leveraging these tools and going through it? I got the first profitable contract. Should I stop? No, because the original challenge was 3 full weeks. And over the preceding days after day 8, only 3 contracts. Here's the thing. Only 3 contracts were contracted during the live challenge. The 4th one came a couple of days after the challenge was wrapped up, because that's the beauty of this business, is that you fill up a pipeline and through follow-up, you still keep getting deals.
From the same marketing spend, right? Like very, very, very seldom do we get someone who's ready to sell right now at this moment. Let's get them signed. Perfect. Right? We got one of those. We got those during the challenge, but I think the other magic was, we're still getting leads right now from what we already spent on the marketing, which is like really, really, really huge.
It's cause and effect. I mean, that's it. I mean, anybody that wants, it's the law of cause and effect. If you're out there and you're silent and you're not taking action every single day to build your pipeline of leads and following up with those leads, nothing's going to happen. But the beautiful thing about this business is we've got an unlimited supply of ugly houses in every single community around the United States, every single way. And it doesn't even have to be something that's burnt down or it's a hoarder house or anything like that. It could just be that it hasn't been renovated in the last 20, 30, 40 years. You know what I mean? It's just, that's the opportunity for people to go in and revitalize neighborhoods. And guess what? There's 11 million vacant houses that have been vacant for over a year based on the 2020 census. 11 million properties. That's $14 billion in unpaid property taxes every single year. And guess who goes after them? Wholesalers. Wholesalers go after them. Is it real estate agents? No. Is it the mortgage companies? No. Is it people buying it at tax auctions? Maybe 3-5 years later. Right? Wholesalers we are so incredibly important in the ecosystem of the real estate industry. We are undeniable. We go out there and we provided incredible value, and our value is equal to the income that we receive. Hence why we make $38,000 a deal. Rant over.
11 million vacant houses.
Amazing.
Over a year. Single family.
Crazy.
And we have family over a year vacant. You can look.
When I hired Brent Daniels, when I became a TTB student, one of the first questions I asked Brent was this. I said, as a wholesaler, do you ever worry about running out of deals?
Yes.
I legit asked Brent that question.
Yeah. It'll never happen. I mean, drive anywhere. When you find utopia, when there's, the streets are just beautiful and everything's perfect and every neighborhood's been revitalized and, we're floating in the air in some sort of cloud city or something, maybe. But until that day, there's going to be plenty of opportunities.
Yeah, we gotta ask ourselves, like, if people are just going to all of a sudden stop having problems, and I don't think that will ever be the case.
Here's the thing I want to also say. We've been doing a high volume of deals for a long time. And we continue to do a high volume of deals today in the strongest real estate market in the history of the United States, in a housing shortage, with access to more technology than was 5 years ago.
Yep.
We are still doing a extremely high volume of transactions every single month. Can you run out? If there was ever going to be someone who was going to run out of deals, it would have been me.
Jamil, how about Open Door, OfferPad, Zillow? How about all those? They're in the mix too, baby.
Gobble, 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 gobble,
There's
gobble,
still
gobble,
more.
gobble, gobble. That's all that's happening.
Still more deals. There's still houses that need help. There's still homeowners that need help. There's still property owners that need help. There's still vacant land sitting in every town, in every neighborhood. Not every neighborhood, but every area. There's still opportunity. I'm telling you, real estate is bananas. I love this business. I love it. I'm going to do this forever. I'm going to do this show with you guys forever.
Unlimited opportunities, man. Unlimited opportunities.
Can I tell you guys about the next couple of seasons of Zero to Hero, what we're planning on doing?
Let's go.
So
I'm
Zero
excited.
to Hero season 1 was direct to seller, how quickly, and it really was spurred on by one of my students. He said, I'm an engineer. How likely is it that somebody like me who has a 10-hour day job and a wife and 3 kids can actually be a full-time real estate investor? And I was like, hold my beer. I don't drink, but it was like that whole thing of like, hold my beer and watch us do it. Right. So we created the challenge around that thought process. So if you guys want to go watch the recordings, go to zerotoherorei.com. Now, season 2, one of the future seasons we're talking about is once Jamil and I are done filming and we can go back to normal daily life. Jamil was telling me today, he goes, I just need one day off, man. I just need one day off.
Listen, you guys set yourself up for like the next decade of shooting that show. You know that, right?
Oh, Jamil's going to get
right?
a Hollywood movie out of this.
I already see what you're doing on Instagram. I'm already this is going to blow people's faces off. It's going to blow people's.
I
this
hope
is going to be the new like Chip and Joanne. I'm telling you. I don't know which one's which.
But when we're not filming, what Matt and I are planning on doing is we're planning on doing another challenge where Matt and I go live in Atlanta. Jamil's been to this house that I'm talking about. I have a 3-story home I bought on Creative Finance in downtown Atlanta, 8-bed, 5-bath. Matt and I are going to bring our wives and our kids out to that house, and we're going to live in this house for a month. And what we're going to do is every single day, Matt and I are going to leave that house with no money in our pocket, nothing but a cell phone, and we have all day long to go and challenge each other to see who can get a deal. Okay? No phone, no list, no nothing. We're going to be doing door knocking, driving for dollars, etc. The bare necessities. The same way Jamil got his first deal, walking his dog for dollars. The way that Brent Daniels knocked 20,000 doors in a freaking suit. Were you wearing a suit or just a button up?
No, I had like a one of those active polos. And on the back, it said neighborhood ambassadors.
Are you dead serious?
Neighborhood ambassadors. That was Dustin Monger and I's team name. And we walked around Phoenix in a bazillion degrees. I was shredded.
Oh
I couldn't eat enough. I was like, I could do whatever I wanted. And I was shredded. I was tan. I was like 14 degrees tanner than this. And we knocked 15,000 doors. We had 2 or 3 people that would always go with us. And it was an incredible experience. It got over my fear of speaking face to face with strangers about real estate. And it was a great learning experience. But then, skip tracing opened everything up.
Mike,
really
should we wear shirts?
I wish there were cameras on those 2 guys. That would have been.
I'll send you a pic. I
Yes.
wonder if I could post a pic. You want to see a pic?
Bro,
I bet I can post
please.
one. Hold on.
We want to see a pic.
All right.
So what Matt and I want to do is on a daily basis, we are going to have videographers follow us with cameras and document everything that Matt and I are doing. And we're going to go head to head. Okay. And now
24
we
hours.
have to wear
Won't
shirts
even
that say
last.
neighborhood ambassadors. We have to wear those shirts.
Yes.
So that's going to be a future season of Zero to Heroes. We're going to continually come up with new challenges and show people from a day-by-day, step-by-step process of how to do this. So even if somebody who doesn't have a budget, they don't have the couple of $1,000s that Jamil and Matt laid out to get this full business started, we'll show them how to do it with no money, and we'll challenge each other and make a fun game out of it. So that's a future episode or future season of Zero to Hero. So if you guys want to watch Zero to Heroes recordings that Matt just did, it's about 50 plus hours of content. It's zerotoherorei.com. By the way,
Crazy.
this is a really good episode of Wholesale Hotline. We've had nearly 400 plus live viewers almost the entire episode. People have really shown up and supported us today. Thank you guys so much.
Yes. Love that. I'm excited for that season pace. I don't know how long it's going to last. Are we going to stop at one deal, or are we going to like do a time frame? Because
I think we do a time frame of 30 days. Right. If Jamil and I can break away for 30 days, I'm going to Atlanta. I'm taking my wife and my kids because, Jamil and I, every time we travel to Atlanta, it just like further solidifies how much I love the city and Jamil loves the city. And so I think 30 full days all the way through, and to see who gets the most deals and who makes the most money, you and I would be running as competition against each other, not tag teaming. We would be competing against each other.
Awesome. I'm excited for that.
It's in the neighborhood badassadors.
Neighborhood ambassadors, baby.
75 hard child play.
There you go.
Vanessa Garcia says, does anyone else get scared of homeowners while door knocking, or is it just me? Jim, here, can I tell you guys a funny story? And I want to then ask Brent and Matt a question, because both of you guys have knocked doors a tremendous amount. I knocked doors on my mission. When I was a Mormon missionary in Korea, I knocked, I don't even know how many doors over 2 years, a lot. And it was what we did 3-4 hours every single day. But for the TV show, we thought it would be a really fun thing for Jamil and I to go out and knock doors and put Jamil in a really anxiety, induced situation. So we're driving through the neighborhoods and we're knocking doors. TV show is following us, by the way, with 2 cameras. It's a blast. And Jamil comes up with this idea. He goes, you know what? Let's have fun and let's see who can say the word anchovy first when we're talking to a seller. And I'm like, bro, there's no way you're going to beat me at this game. I'm going to say anchovy so stinking fast, you're going to just be blown away. So first house we knock. Lady comes to the door. Dog is there. Jamil goes, does your dog like anchovies? And I was like, what the freak, bro? In like 7 seconds, this dude says anchovies. And so what's funny is the TV show, they created an anchovy counter on the screen, and Jamil just keeps saying anchovy over and over and over to the seller. So you can make knocking doors fun and non-threatening. So here's my question to Brent and Matt.
Yeah.
Vanessa says, does anybody else get scared of knocking doors? Brent, when you were a neighborhood ambassador, that sounds like a great boy band name, by the way. And Matt, when you were a neighborhood ambassador, what was it that got you over the fear of talking to these sellers?
Reps. I was scared to death. I'm telling you, listen, like I'm the talk to people guy now, but this has been an evolution for sure. And that was the first thing that really broke me out. I was the kid that like sent the candy bars that you have to sell for Boy Scouts with my dad to sell. I didn't want to sell any of those. I didn't want to, do anything there. I didn't set up any businesses. I didn't sell any lemonade. I didn't do any of that. So I naturally was just, kind of shelled up and kind of like, I didn't know how to open up conversations and not be awkward and not fumble and stumble. So I was like, you know what? I'm totally broke. I owe $740,000 on a judgment. My son is like 3, 4, 5 months old. I need to make something happen here. I need to crawl out of this situation. So I'm going to go knock on doors in Arcadia, in Phoenix. I know that people love living there, and I'm going to see if people will sell houses to me that need renovation. And that's what I did. And we just would go and knock on doors, and it was terrible. And I was like, oh God. And I would start walking up the path and then start walking back and start walking back. And I was just like, oh my gosh, just go knock on the door, dude. Just like, seriously, like just get out, just go take action. And it was just reps. It honestly was reps. And then you realize that most humans are really, really, really kind and really nice. And
Brent,
if you go respectfully, they'll be respectful to you.
You knocked doors. You started in Arcadia. And I want to just ask this because I think it's the elephant in the room. Arcadia is a rich neighborhood.
Yeah.
So do you think it's better or maybe to just when you're first starting, like, did you have the same success and did you get the same vibe door knocking in, the south side than as you got in Arcadia?
It was actually, we were real scared, right? To like go past, like go into the avenues, right? You go on the other side of Central and you go into the avenues, and then all of a sudden things get a little chippy, right? There's a little bit more dogs running wild, right? There's a little bit more like what's going on here. And it was nicer people, honestly. I mean, I found it was way easier, way better to go into neighborhoods where people would just have conversations. And we talked to a lot of tenants. We talked to a lot of property owners, a lot of landlords. And that's how we started getting going. And then once somebody gave me a phone number, I knew that if I had the address, name, and phone number for a property, I could really do some damage. And then it just went absolutely bananas. I turned into a psychopath, cold calling freakazoid that just went crazy because I just knocked 15,000 doors sitting in a nice air conditioned office. Oh my gosh, I went crazy, hours, 9 to noon every single day, and it just built and built and built and built. There were no VAs then. There was no hiring people. We developed that over time, and then it's just kind of blossomed, and now it's common practice.
Right, and you got reps, right? I think that was the coolest thing. It's like that is everything for me. Like it never went away. That like, oh my gosh, the butterflies, that never went away, right? I think getting the reps are great, and they got me more confident. And like I think that's the reason why we don't have much sympathy for folks who won't take action, because like literally it can really be that simple.
Yeah.
For me, always feeling that, and I still feel it. Like even to this day, I would go knock on doors or anytime I feel that like, okay, like this is a good opportunity. But what I have done over time is I turn that energy from nervousness to excitement, right?
Yeah.
Is I'm excited to be here. I'm excited this one door could change everything. Like in the beginning, literally one door meant 12. I made 12 grand on my first deal, and that changed everything for me. So I approached it with that. Like this door could change everything. And I think people who are starting out, if you can just turn that energy from just, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous, what's going to happen, to I'm excited that I'm taking charge of my life, it changed everything.
Yeah.
So did it become fun or did it become easy to bomb?
Yes.
Like, I think that's the thing, right? Everyone's worried about bombing. They're worried they're going to go to the door. They're going to knock on the door. They're going to say some dumb shit. They're going to get the door slammed in their face, right?
Yeah.
That's bombing. That you bomb the door knock. So
I think it's important to squat up when you go out. If you're going to go out and go to a door, you have to squat up. You have to have some fun. You have to have somebody there. And we had fun. I can't find this picture. It was on my old Facebook, and then Facebook shut my Facebook down. It's a shame because it is a gem. You guys would love it. I was just like 100.
I wonder if Dustin has it. Could you ask Dustin for it?
Is it the same amount of anxiety knocking a door as it is cold calling for you?
No, the door knocking was now it's fine. I mean, I'll go to any door anywhere. I mean, I have no problem now, but it just took the reps. But picking up the phone is just, I mean, you could just get that now with the technology. I mean, it's like he was saying, 5,000 to 7,000 calls.
It's almost unfair. It's unfair.
It's unfair.
People can just go hire a VA from Start Virtual, put out $2,200 in employee costs and skip tracing, and have 4 contracts. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's never been easier, and it's a little unfair to us old farts.
And we still have people scared to get started. If I was in the folks that are watching right now and you haven't, I'd be scared not to get started. Like, how long is this opportunity going to be around? Like, let's do it. Like, it's such an incredible opportunity right now that if you just do it, man, like everything could change. And I
do it with a homie. I mean, Brent was doing it with a homie, Dustin, who, you know, we know in this industry. He's an amazing
awesome.
guy. You just became friends. Jamil and I the other day, what was the game we were playing about trees the other day? With knocking doors.
Yeah. Find a dead tree, knock.
Yes.
Find a dead tree in the yard. You just look up in the sky, find a dead tree, drive there, knock.
That was literally the game. Ironically, though, like the 5th house we looked at, we pull up to the house with the dead ass. It was one of my houses. It's an Airbnb. We pull up. I was like, oh shit, this is my Airbnb. But we had a blast, dude. It's so fun when you go out with your homie and you squad up, which is the whole premise of Wholesale Hotline. Get together with each other. And I actually would be curious, as you know, we're wrapping up this episode, I'd be curious to see how many people in the comments have squatted up, maybe met up with each other, went and hung out with each other at like real estate meetups, or even gone to like Starbucks or something like that. I would love to see that in the comments. Who has actually squatted up with each other and taken action on building relationships, which are a cornerstone of what you need to build your business on in the real estate world? I love that, Matt. A lot of people are liking that. Telling us to turn nervousness into excitement is the perfect jewel I needed to hear. Is there a mechanism, Matt, that you've got to do that? Like what is it? Is there like a thing that I tell myself, or what is it?
No, I mean, like I think overcoming fear, like that's why I say this all the time with folks who know me, is like you develop the virtue in the things that require it. So if you want courage, you got to do things that require courage. If you want to, you know, patience, you got to do things that require patience. But when it comes to door knocking, it's like you're taking charge of your life and being able to say, oh my gosh, in that moment, for me, like I can feel my heartbeat in my chest, and I can feel it like start to come up my throat, like, whoo, oh my gosh. And then, you know, you start getting like sweaty hands, like whatever it might be for you, you start feeling that, whatever you feel when you're nervous, and you start saying, okay, I'm feeling this right now. I acknowledge it, but this isn't nervousness. This is actually excitement. Right. And I just turn it and I tell myself, this is excitement, man. You should be excited. This is an amazing opportunity. You're alive today and you're taking charge of your life. And it can change everything.
Relabel. You relabeled it.
Yes, exactly.
So the other thing too is like, if you go back to Jamil's origin story, right? To me, he's a superhero in my life. I know he's a superhero to everybody else. Even today, I was with Jamil and I made a comment. This was an interesting thing. Today, Anna Martinez on our team, she's been with us 8 years. She got her first house. We gifted her a house. And Jamil was like, man, that's incredible. Like what you guys did for her. And I said, dude, honestly, I could not have done it without you. And he's like, oh, you would have figured out a way. I'm like, yeah, maybe in 10 years, like my relationship with Jamil, my relationship with Brent, my relationship with Steve Trang and other people has fast forward my growth no less than 20 years. No, I couldn't have done any of this on my own. Not even close, not even a shred of it on my own. I am so grateful for my relationships in this business. Now, when you go back to Jamil's origin story, right? Again, he's a superhero to me. So it is an origin story. He gets his first deal by calling a FSBO that he was probably walking Furbo for rent by owner. It was a Furbo. Ironically, he had his furry dog with him at his feet. And I guarantee you were wearing gangster slides when you were walking your dog. Were you wearing slides?
Not. No.
Don't lie.
No. It was 2006. Guys, I lived in Canada, man. You don't wear slides in Canada.
What do you wear in Canada? Do you wear boots?
Boots?
Yeah, dude. I had some pretty dumb shoes. They were boots. Yeah. I had boots.
I'm proud of them.
So Jamil calls on a Furbo, and what immediately happens is he makes a net of $48,000. He went from selling websites and losing $200 per website he sold to making $48,000. If that is not enough motivation for you to immediately go and do it again, I don't know what else is. Right? Like, so go find people who have had success in real estate. Go find people who have had these success stories. For me, every time we helped a seller that was in pre-foreclosure and we heard the story come out of the seller's mouth, that was all the motivation I needed ever again to go, I know the result of taking the action. Same thing with Jamil. He knew the result of taking the action. And what did you immediately do, Jamil? Did you go and like reinvent the wheel, or what did you do?
I just went and got the classified section, and I just started calling down for rents in the classified section of the newspaper.
So you saw the result, you just duplicated the action.
Yep.
That's
A
it.
TTP. A TTP.
I think a lot of people just need to see the result, right? It's the paradigm shifter. It's not just the money you make on that deal, even though it's great money, it's crazy money, but it just changes your mindset. It's like, okay, well, I can do this again. And I can do this again. And I can do this again. And like for me personally, Pace helped me check that box in my life. That's why I owe him everything. Like, how could I ever give someone back everything they've given me? Right? Everything that I know now is from
you give it to somebody else.
Exactly.
That's how you pay it back. You give it to everyone else.
What I gave you, Matt, came from Brent and Jamil and Steve Trang and other people before me, right? And I turned around, we gave it to you, and look what you're doing now. You create the zero to hero, and you let thousands of people watch this thing live.
Exactly.
And I think it starts with aspiration. I think that people have to, and that's internal. That's everybody on this that's watching this at some point has said to themselves, I want to be financially like free. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be a real estate entrepreneur, right? That's the first part. And if that aspiration is burning strong, that's that fire in your belly. Nobody's going to fuel that thing. You can get inspiration from people that have done it before. You can get motivation from coaching, but you have to have that aspiration to be that person. Because if you don't, you're not going to make it through this first 90 days of pushing and pushing and pushing and finding opportunities and being uncomfortable and changing who you are and evolving your skills on every single part of this transaction, every part of this business. That's where it starts. You got to keep that fire in your belly and just know people have done it before. People have done it, but you got to have that fire in your belly. If it's just like, should I do this or should I do crypto? Should I do this or should I do drop shipping? Should I do this or should I start some other company? Then you're going to be pulled in different directions. If you have an aspiration to be a real estate entrepreneur, this is how you start. Wholesaling is the foundation of everything. You find the ability to find discounted properties. You build the skills of finding discounted properties. You're going to be set for the rest of your life. That's where but it starts with the aspiration. You got to want that for yourself.
I have to pause you there because this was my favorite thing you said. It was about 4 months ago. And you said something so powerful. It still rings true to me. I don't think I had even realized it in my mind because of how fast my growth was by taking action and being around the right people. I didn't realize that this was true until you said it out of your mouth. You said, because I understand how to find discounted properties, I will never worry about what will happen to me or my family ever again.
That's it.
It blew me away. It was on the Wholesale Hotline. And I was like, and Jamil was like, I feel the same way. I'm like, holy shit. I feel the same way too. Like I have zero fear of my financial future ever again, because I know that if I had nothing, I lost everything. You throw me in the middle of anywhere, even in Zimbabwe, you could send me to Zimbabwe magically and I could virtually wholesale real estate. I never have to worry about money ever again.
Yep. Yeah.
All Jamil has to do is sit in his, we were on break today and I pull up to Jamil's car and I go, what are you doing? He's like, comping a deal, getting a deal. And I'm like, just from his freaking cell phone, the dude's locking up deals. Somebody came to say hi to Jamil real fast. Hey, come here. Do you want to say hi to Jamil?
Uh-oh. Ah.
Say hi, Jamil.
Hi, Cody's here.
Oh, Cody's here. Okay. Oh, it's my best Cody.
That's great.
She says to Jamil today, she's like, I'm going to put on a dress and leave my garage and come see you. She just loves her godfather, Jamil.
Listen, I got to say, Matt, knowing you and seeing what you have done in the last year, not just in business, but I see it in your eyes, brother. You've got that fucking sparkle, bro. I mean, you are just going. You do. At first, you came in and you were very respectful and you're very open and you were a sponge and you were coachable and you had that, but you didn't have that, like, stars in your eyes. You've got it, brother. You definitely got it. And I love that you do. And I'm excited for you. I'm really excited for you.
I appreciate that, man. Like, honestly, it's like, everything that I've been able to do in such a short period of time. And the people that are watching this, like how important relationships are, man. Like being surrounded by good people, you can't freaking lose. Right. And I realize that it's like, I see it. So it can happen for me. And like, I owe it to you guys.
Well, were you doing a lot of lives? Were you real loud in your life? Did you grow up like always doing stories and posting and being super loud on social media? Or is this new? I don't even know.
Absolutely not. Never. Like I was just always, the new saying after Pace heard it from Jamil is I just chop wood and carry water, right? I just work, just do the thing, man. And then now I feel like, you know, after doing it and seeing it, like I have something to say and I have something to share. And like, yeah, I've been going live. I've gone live every single day now for like almost 6 months. And, you know, just trying to share the knowledge, all the help that you guys have helped me and everyone else in my world. Like if I can give back just a little bit and I get those DMs, just like little ones now, I don't even have any influence. Like someone says like, hey, I got a deal. This is amazing. I'm like, dude, that is freaking awesome.
Yep.
So, you know, that's the best feeling in the world.
Amazing.
I agree with David. The most lovable dude on the planet. There he is.
Love that.
You guys are awesome.
Guys, get in his world. You get in the world. Get in this world. I'm telling you. I don't know who it is. I don't know what you want to join and do and be a part of, but we're all arms wide open. Like this is the cheat code. I'm telling you. You join TTP, you join Sub 2, you join the Astro flipping, whichever one. It doesn't matter. Join all of them. Join something. Be in this. Get this energy. Get the vibe. I mean, we've got communities built on taking action and cheerleading others in the community. I'm telling you, you become the people you hang around with. You become the things that you're thinking about. And if you're around people that are thinking the same things that you are, pushing in the same direction, that's the cheat code. And you got good coaching. It's the cheat code.
Abundance.
Yep.
There's enough out here for everybody, man. There is so much out here.
So I get an influencer that reaches out to me about 2 weeks ago and he says, hey, can I pay you for some consulting? And I go, I'll give it to you for free. What's up? Right. Cause that's how Brent's always been to us. Right. Especially in the content game, Brent Daniels has been like an open book. So I go, hey, I'll give it to, what do you need? What do you want to know? I want to create something similar to Wholesale Hotline. How often do I have to post? How do I have to do this? And I said, look, man, it has nothing to do with that. Here's why Wholesale Hotline is so great is because you have 3 people that care so damn much about building community that it doesn't matter what we're talking about on any given Wholesale Hotline Monday. You have a community of people that show up to hang out with each other and build this culture bigger than it's ever done in real estate. Nobody's ever done what we're doing, creating this culture. And basically he's like, that's exactly what I wanted to know. That sounds like way too much work. Thank you. I'm not even going to start. Literally, that was his answer. That sounds like too much work.
Listen, people want to be mentors. They do not want to be coaches. I am telling you, people want to set it up like it's a business that they can set it and forget it. And that's their, whatever. That's their mentorship. That's fine if that's what you want. But I think coaching is the way to go. I really do. I'm really getting loud about. I'm beating the drum on the difference between mentorship and coaching because it is a significant difference, and there is a reason why Jamil, Pace, and I have thousands of testimonials of checks posted. I mean, call this whatever, an ad at the end of this thing, whatever. I don't care. I'm proud of what we've built, and I know anybody that walks into our world is going to walk out a much different entrepreneur. For sure.
And I think you can speak with conviction because you've had the other thing, right? You've paid for mentorship and you're left more unfulfilled and still had more questions.
Yep.
I'm not going to do that.
Yep.
What a great episode today, guys.
Great episode. A lot of energy.
Woo!
I love it. Matt, you crushed, brother.
Thanks, guys.
I mean, everybody check it out. Check what he's got going on out there. Really, really real stuff. Nobody's doing it. Pace always leads the charge with that. Huge example, Pace, and I really appreciate it. I mean,
I've gotten everything from you, Jamil, Steve Trang. I am just grateful to have my big brothers inspire me.
You're exposing everybody There's nowhere to hide now. You said scale the unscalable. You said that in front of a group of the top real estate coaches, mentors, education, affiliates, everything. And you said scale the unscalable, which means actually care about the people that are in your program, actually care about changing their lives. Actually, it's not a money grab. This is like a real, and this is different in our industry. I am telling you, it is all about products or fake ass mentorships or whatever else in our industry. And I am telling you, the tide is shifting. I spoke at the same event you did, and I said, you guys you start doing a bunch of paywalls. We are going to eat you up. Pace Jamil and I are going to eat you up. We're going to eat you up. You want to do a paywall to a Zoom?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
You're telling me it's not this pixel where you go click on this link and then you go watch the video and you go do this thing. You're telling me it's not that? Oh my God.
Just
Classic.
saying. It's time to expose. Anyway, love you guys.
Love you too. Guys, thank you so much for watching this episode of Wholesale Hotline. Follow Matt Beard on Instagram. Follow Matt Beard on his YouTube channel. He does a lot about virtual assistant training. You're going to see Matt Beard on Brent Daniels' YouTube coming up soon. You'll see Matt Beard on Jamil Damji's YouTube coming up soon as well. And if you guys want to watch the recordings of what Matt went through on Zero to Hero, go to zerotoherorei.com. We love you. We appreciate you. And we will see you next week on Wholesale Hotline.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3. So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't say nothing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.